Okay, we're going to walk through the sampling activity. This is going to require you to both do some tasks and also be referring back to some things that you've learned how to do in the lecture and the textbooks. So be prepared for that. Here are the instructions. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open this Google Sheet. And in this Google Sheet, you will see that there's a bunch of tabs at the bottom, and they are different lists of things. You can pick any list you want. It doesn't make a difference, whatever you want. But the first thing you're going to have to do is make a copy of that Google Sheet. In the instructions, there's a video that shows you how to do that, but it's not very difficult. You just do File, Make a Copy, and you make a copy. And this is going to be a copy that's going to go into your own Google Drive. Okay? So once you have this, you can do whatever you want with it. Or if you mess things up and you want to start again, you could always go back to that original link and make a new copy. Okay? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to select one of those lists to use for your activity and delete all the other tabs. So let's say that I want to use this animals one. I just click on Disney, delete, delete, etc. And you'd go through them all and delete so that eventually only the tab that you're using is in here. And that is so that you don't accidentally do an analysis on the wrong tab, that you only are going to be doing these sampling little activities with one example. Okay? So then you're going to, for your first step, create a frequency table that's going to include all the raw counts and the relative frequency and percentages of the entire list. So this is the population, not a sample. There's a video here that will show you how to make frequency tables, okay? When you make that frequency table, you need to label it with population in the title so that you know and that we know that that is all the data on the total population. Okay? So I'm not going to go through that. You can watch the video on how to do that. But for your next one, you're going to duplicate this tab and you're going to name it Simple Random Sampling. Okay? Simple Random Sampling. At the next step, you're going to select 15 items from the list using Simple Random Sampling. There is an example on this link of how to do this. There is a command called the RAND command. You're going to walk through all of this, and it's going to be a random number generator that's going to randomly select, in this case for you, 15 items. You're then going to create a frequency table again, including the raw counts and the relative frequency in percentages of that N of 15 sample of Simple Random Sampling. So you'll follow the instructions up here for the frequency table again. Make sure that you label that table Simple Random Sampling, okay, on the table. Then you're going to do this again, duplicate again. And this time, you're going to do this with systematic random sampling. You're going to select 15 items from the list using systematic random sampling. You're going to select every nth item. You will need to calculate the sampling interval. You have in the lecture how to calculate the sampling interval, and I'll probably add some notes somewhere so you can have that as well. Be sure that you leave your work in the tab so that we can see how you calculated the sampling interval. Again, you're going to create a frequency table with the raw counts and relative frequencies of that sample, the systematic random sample. Again, label it. You're going to make another duplicate tab, and that one's going to be called Stratified Random Sampling. This time, you're going to select 15 items from the list with proportionate strata, round up, using stratified random sampling as per the lecture. There's also a video here of how to do it in Excel, but the exact same thing works in Google Sheets. And just to show you on this list, Here you see of the types, it's all cat and dog, for example. So those would be your strata. Again, leave your work in the tab so we know what you did. You're going to, again, create a frequency table with the raw counts, relative frequencies, in percentages of the sample. Again, label it with stratified random sampling. Then you're going to need to download your Google Sheet and upload it to Canvas. We don't want to link to your Google Sheet. We want the actual download. There are instructions here on how to download a Google Sheet. It's not terribly difficult. You just do File, Download, and we want it in this Excel format, XLS.x, okay? So you're going to upload that here. On the first question in the quiz, you're going to tell us which tab, which list you used. We'll know from your download, but this will help us too and make our lives a little easier. You're going to tell us the sample interval formula that you used. You're going to type in the formulas that you used to determine the proportion for your stratum. And then you're going to talk about which of the methods of sampling was most similar in relative frequencies to your total population. And then you're going to answer a question about why you think that is. So this is going to be a little time consuming. You're going to have to do some clicking around, but once you do it once, it'll be more familiar to you on how to do this.